Good morning, and we are live. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. I hope you're having a good cup of coffee today. We got a lot to talk about. We had some primary results from Tennessee. We've got economic news that is just huge. I told you so moment. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, and we've got Turd Cruz attacking Abdul El-Sayed. Let's just dive into it. Let's get to work. Let's get to work, folks. Yeah, I tell you, we had some hell of a jobs report. We talked about this. We said where the economy was going. We said that the stuff that you're hearing out of the media is bullshit. We wrote it, and boy, howdy, was it true. But as with every show, I kind of like to give you a lens to look through because we're going to talk about some serious things today. And I just want you to get a feel for what I'm thinking when I'm looking at this stuff. And this is the beginning. Bar Chart Official, by the way, if you're on Threads, is a great follow. They are a great follow. They will bring you these charts on a daily basis. This is what they do. They will take data and they will find charts that actually give you a visual representation of what's going on. This is United Wholesale Mortgage's stock. And it is absolutely imploding right now. Why is this important? Well, if you're a longtime follower, you're a longtime member of the community, you come to the show, we talk about background information. If you're new, you may not know. You may not know what we do here. Okay. We give background information. We give that kind of information that lets people know not just a thing happened, but this is why it happened. We've been talking about the economy. We've been talking about the canaries in the coal mine. We've been talking about the red flags. We've been, for a very, very, very long time. And where does United Wholesale Mortgage come into this? Why is it a big deal? Most of you, I would wager most of you have never even heard of United Wholesale Mortgage. They are a holding company. They're not who you deal with when you have your mortgage. Typically, they're the parent company that owns the companies. But they are the largest mortgage holder in the country. They are. They just doesn't get any bigger. And they lost hundreds of millions of dollars last quarter. They've suspended dividends. They've gone on a cash raising binge. This headline is a little, you got to kind of be an insider to understand. UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, lines up record $2.5 billion. Matt Ishbia is the CEO of United Wholesale Mortgage, / Oak Tree Capital, raised as it posts quarter two loss. This is a big deal. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and they are currently sourcing capital from just about everywhere they can get it. And they're selling it as, oh, we think the market's great. We want to be liquid as much as possible so that we can go ahead and issue more mortgages and, be prepared. We just think things are great. They're great. No, no, no. Housing inventories, if you follow the show, we know housing inventories have been growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. We're due for a correction in the real estate market. We're not looking at a booming real estate market. We're not. They're raising capital, and everybody knows it, to survive what is coming down the road. The people in the know are making the moves. The people, it always happens. A big thing happens, and it seems like it was really fast. It just boom happened. If you follow the show, we've talked about it. We've talked about how, like the 2007, 2008 banking collapse. That was a 6 months of domino after domino after domino falling, where you still had people screaming, "Oh, well, everything's fine, everything's perfect, don't worry about it, this, that, and the other," and all the nonsense, when the banking industry was collapsing, the housing industry was collapsing, and it dominoed into just damn near a complete collapse of our country. I mean, it was hell. I'm telling you, we're in one of those cycles right now. But the people that know, the people that really follow things, they are making moves to protect themselves. And that just confirms for me that my suspicions may be just more than suspicions. They just may be. Yeah, this is one of those things. When I see the nation's largest mortgage lender trying desperately to raise capital, cutting stock dividends, that doesn't tell me, oh, we're prepared for a beautiful future. That tells me they're battening down the hatches. And why would they be battening down the hatches? Well, told you. U.S. economy unexpectedly lost 23,000 jobs in July. Not added jobs, lost 23,000 jobs in July. I've been telling you, the economy, what's going on with the Dow is in no way tied to the reality of what's going on with our economy at all. At all. These two things are completely bifurcated right now. And it's not just July. They went back and they revised. I told you the numbers are bullshit. Those June numbers that we got, that they were like, oh, that's better than expected. Everything's great. I called bullshit on it, didn't I? If you were here, if you're a long time member of the show, you watch the show regularly, you're not one of the new folks. Did I not call bullshit on that? I did. And lo and behold, here we are. They revised the numbers down 103,000 jobs. Those, massive job gains they had in June. No, we added about 20,000 jobs in June. That's it. That's it. So yeah, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. The economy is in trouble. It is. We're going to be okay, folks. Let me stress that. We're not fear-mongering here. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay because you and I are having these conversations. You are going to be prepared for what happens. You are not going to be shocked when it happens. But these dominoes are starting to fall. Now, you've weathered slow times before. You've weathered bad economies before. You will do so again. You will. We're going to be okay. But we're not going to pretend like it's not happening. We're not going to let ourselves be caught unaware. We're not going to let the broligarchs get ahead of this with things like, yeah, they're cutting treasury yields. And when we've talked about this before, if you're new and you haven't heard us talk about this before, why do they cut treasury yields? Because they don't need them to be as attractive to sell them. When the economy's fantastic and everything's going great, people don't buy bonds. Bonds don't pay as much as the stock market does. So they raise the yields on those bonds to make them attractive so they can sell them. When the economy is shit, they don't have to entice people to sell bonds because they're safe. They may not pay as much, but they don't lose money. You follow me here? Well, they're starting to cut the yields on the bonds. Now, is the stock market in any way in sync with what's going on with the rest of the economy? No, it's not. This is what's going on with the Dow this morning. It is completely detached from reality. So yeah, your drunk uncle and every moron that doesn't actually follow anything is going to tell you, but your 401k's doing good, ain't it? This is always the last disaster. The Dow is always the last disaster. By the time the Dow starts to fall, the Titanic has hit the iceberg. It's already taking on water. So yeah, don't try to use the Dow as an indicator. Watch what people are doing. Watch what people are doing. Watch what they're saying through their actions. Believe them when they show you their actions. Scott Bessent is encouraging rate hikes this September. Now, Scott Bessent is in the Treasury. He's not in the Fed. He doesn't control that. But through everything they're doing, he's encouraging rate hikes. Well, why would you encourage rate hikes when the economy is clearly in trouble? When we're losing jobs? Because inflation is out of control. See, we weren't going to be the first country to face hyperinflation due to Trump's policies. No, there were other countries that were in worse positions, we'll put it that way, that are already seeing huge problems. Japan, Scott Bessent, same guy that's urging the Fed to raise rates, is neck deep in Japan right now, trying to prevent a complete collapse in Japan. Japan is facing stagflation, inflation, and a souring economy. The exact same thing we're entering into. Now, do you understand why Scott Bessent is urging rate hikes? They have to get that inflation under control. They do. They have to get the inflation under control. They cannot incentivize the economy right now because inflation is increasing because of idiotic policy from the Trump regime, because of the war in Iran, because of the oil shortages, because all of that none of which is going to clear up anytime soon. The beef prices, your grocery prices, the stupid, idiotic tariffs, all of that stuff that they can't, but for political reasons, can't back away from, can't acknowledge, can't deal with. It's all come home to roost. It's already causing chaos in Japan. And if Japan completely collapses, that will start a domino effect that will move, spread and spread and spread and spread and spread. So right now, what do we have? What are they, not what they're saying, what are they doing? You've got Scott Bessent asking the Fed to raise interest rates in an economy, clearly, that is sour. You only do that when you're in a stagflation situation. It's the only time you do that. is when you're facing stagflation. He's also looking at what's going on in Japan. Japan is facing stagflation. Their economy is souring. They're facing inflation. Their people are actually shutting down their economy. They are not buying. They are months ahead of us in our reactions. You're going to see in the future, in the next coming months, Americans are going to close their wallets. They are. It's already starting to happen. People transition to a credit economy to cover their bills. They're not making their bills. They're not making their expenses, so they're racking up credit card debt. They will stop that in the next month to 2 months. And then we will be in the exact same place Japan is. Scott Bessent sees the writing on the wall. He is trying to get ahead of this, but publicly saying just the opposite. Publicly, he is saying just the opposite. Everything's fine. Everything's great. But we know it is not. Meanwhile, while this is going on, what are they doing? What are they doing? They're doing stupid shit like this. This is what their focus is. This is what their focus is. This is just how stupid they are. This is happening nationwide. Nationwide. Now, this clip is borrowed, obviously, from a CBS affiliate. They may ding me and may make me take it down. If you don't see a video here in just a second, it's because I had to go back and edit it out. But this is, if for you folks in the live, you'll get to see it. This is the kind of sheer stupidity that is going on. This is what they're focusing on right now. With this economy screeching to a halt because of this war that is completely out of control, this is what they're doing.
Immigration. I'm immigration. I'm talking to you. Put down the pole. Okay, I told you to put down the pole. I'm giving you an order to put down the pole.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm not talking to you. I'm working. I'm working, bro.
Where are you from, sir?
Hey, I'm working. Can you get out of here? Hey, where are you from? You want to get out of here,
Looking
bro?
for somebody.
I don't care. I'm
All right,
working.
we're asking for you to identify yourself. Do you have an identification on you?
I don't.
You don't?
No,
All
sir.
right, what's your name?
You need my name?
Yes, sir.
I'm a legal citizen, sir.
You're a legal citizen?
Yes, sir.
Where were you born?
That's all I need to tell you.
Where were you born?
Sir, can you please help? Let
Hey,
me work.
I'm sitting still. Where were you born?
Okay, let me go around you.
Hey, where were you born?
I was born here, bro. Let me work.
Where at?
Let me work.
Where at? Where were you born?
I'm doing some real work here, buddy.
Awesome, man. Where were you
I
born?
can't let
I'm
this
out of
country
your-
drive.
Hey, we're looking for somebody.
Okay, well, go look for him. Go look for him and don't bother me.
Where are you from?
Don't talk to him.
Okay, you can record all you want.
I'm
Where are you from?
recording.
You're from the United States?
Look at
Born
them.
here?
You guys are speeding through here, bro.
That's not us. Where are you born? United States? Oh, hey, easy.
So you're walking into
I'm
me.
walking next to you.
It's
Get off
literally
me,
them. You just saw them.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
literally them.
What's your name?
You were born in the
What's
United
your name?
States or no?
This is an American citizen he's talking to, by the way. Born and raised. That's what the whole point of the entire story is. That's an American citizen at a job site doing his freaking job. That's where we are as a country. Papers, please. You remember when we grew up that was the sign of tyranny? That was the sign of fascism? You know, the guard telling you papers, please. Do you remember that when you were growing up? Do you have a visceral response to that like I do? I mean, that was literally in the movies the symbol for you are now in a fascist dictatorship. You no longer have freedom. Papers, please. That's where we are. We have a law enforcement organization writing their own warrants. This guy and using this bullshit excuse. We saw that when they murdered Mr. Araujo down here in Texas. Oh, we had a warrant for we were looking for somebody. They're just harassing brown people. That's all they're doing. They weren't looking for someone. They weren't. They wrote their own warrant, didn't have probable cause. That's why they didn't get a judicial warrant. Couldn't find the guy they're looking for. So now they're just going to try to fill their quota so they can get their bonus. They're just going to go out, hey, construction workers, a lot of construction workers aren't citizens. Let's just go harass some brown folks to see if we can find some people. That's what our government's focused on to try to keep their bigot base excited and happy. Hurt the people that I want hurt. Well, that's kind of starting to implode because more and more this shit is happening. 75-year-old businessman John Gannon said he regrets voting for Donald Trump after his 45-year-old Venezuelan fiancée was detained by ICE. Nothing like this has ever happened to me. I bet that's true. It's called white privilege. This is like the Gestapo. What did I just say? Papers, please. Papers, please. I never thought the U.S. would act this way. Yes, you did, Cletus. Yes, you fucking did. Final words. I didn't vote for this. Yes, the fuck you did. You just voted for it to happen to other people. You never thought this shit would come home to roost. John Gannon, a.k.a. Cletus. You are cool with it when it's hurting people you don't know. But this came home to mama. Now you're upset. I didn't vote for it to hurt me. I wanted to hurt them brown people. That's where we are, folks. That's what Republicans are. I don't know how to be any clearer. There's been 30 years of Republican governance in the state of Texas. And these idiots like John, he's from Texas. These idiots cannot wrap their head around that this is it. This is the best Republicans can do. They have complete control. Complete control here in the state of Texas. The job problems that we have, I want to brag for a little bit about my state, the state I grew up in. People are like, Paul, how can you live here? Because I lived in Texas during better times. I'm born and raised here. There was a time, and we're talking before the Republicans ran things, that the state of Texas had the best highway system in the country. It did. Our ports, Galveston was one of the best ports in the country. We invested in education. We believed in science. We were the hub for biomedical research. Houston, San Antonio, both had massive districts in them that had research project after research project. We were building a super collider up in Waxahachie, that got killed because the Republicans took control and they hate science and they saw investment in science as a waste of money, and they pressured the Democrats. Bill Clinton ended up signing the bill to kill the super collider in Waxahachie because the Republicans here called it a waste of money. Meanwhile, they continued to build the one in CERN, which has not only paid for itself, but also grossed them another about $14 billion in income before you count all of the massive discoveries that have come out of that project, including its contributions to quantum computing. That used to be Texas. What are we now? Our schools are shit. We're rated like 47th or something like that now. Our universities are a joke. A word about wokeness and DEI. This is it. This is the best they can do. This is it. All the problems we face, this is it. They've got no one to blame. Same with the Trump regime in Washington, D.C. This is it. They control all three. We haven't controlled all three branches of government since 1969. They have on multiple occasions have controlled all three branches of the government and do so right now. And what are they doing? The economy is imploding. The economy's crashing. In no small part due to that harassment that in that video I just showed you. Our economy, businesses, we talked about this all the time. They don't go after the businesses that employ immigrants. No, not them. But they go after the immigrants. Blame it. And what did we tell them? You know what? Those immigrants are the engine to your economy. They are. Leave them alone. If you want to fix the system, fine. We'll help you fix the system. But they didn't want to fix the system. They want the problem. They want the bigotry. They want the false narrative and the hate. Case in point, Turd Cruz. Abdul El-Sayed, we talked about him in the last show, came out. I can't play his TikTok videos. He is killing it. They came out as soon as he won. Sorry, my co-host is chiming in. Yeah, I know, right? He's doing a great job on TikTok, isn't he? He's doing a great job, isn't he? Killing it. He's just killing it. He is. But I can't play the videos because they all have theme music. And sorry, my co-host is being invited to leave. Just a moment. Good girl. That's my girl. She's been here the whole time. She's been a good girl the whole time. Oh, man. But back on point. Abdul El-Sayed won his race. He came out strong. I encourage you to go look at the videos that are coming out about him. He is he's killing it. He is, the friendly narrative, their dance videos, what I mean? They're humanizing him. From a political perspective, killing it because it takes the Republicans' attack away, doing a fantastic job because he knew this was coming. This is Turd Cruz. Let's get into it. Let's dig into the attacks on El-Sayed and Abdul El-Sayed. But let's let Turd Cruz run his mouth.
Look at the Muslim Brotherhood Network today and its influence in the United States today. In fact, just yesterday, Abdul El-Sayed, the son-in-law of a leading member of several Brotherhood groups, won Michigan's Democrat primary for U.S. Senate. Perfect timing for this hearing. Probably explains why no Democrats are here and none intend to attend.
Actually, I'm not going to let him. This goes on for like 3 minutes of just bullshit. Okay. You get the point of what he's saying, right? No, it's not perfectly timed. You timed the hearing for right after the primaries because you knew you were going to lodge these attacks. You knew you were going to come out and you were going to say this shit. So I want to put this to bed. I do. You know me. I like to bring the receipts and the background information and all the stuff. No. Abdul El-Sayed's father-in-law is not funding terrorists. He is not tied to the Muslim Brotherhood. He is not. You're going to hear that from right-wingers because that is the narrative the Republicans are pushing. Is it based in any fact? No. None at all. None at all. But it doesn't matter. It's what they want to hear. He's Muslim, terrorist, be afraid, bigoted shit. That's what they want. So that's what they're going to run with. Let's us talk about what's actually going on. Okay. But before we do, I want to catch up on some of these comments. I'm running behind quite a few comments out there. I don't want to let them get that far behind. I don't want to get too many points behind so that the comments are still relevant to the conversation. Rich, thank you for being so generous and gifting the memberships. Y'all are all too kind. Y'all are too kind. I love this community. Skeet Sayre, Cruz is nothing but a white supremacist. It is funny watching them attack Mandani while he does good for all. Yep. We knew this was coming. We knew it was coming. Montana Will, heading in for back surgery on Tuesday. I might be loopy afterwards, but I'll be watching. Thanks for providing informative truth. Ride or die, baby. Hey, take care of yourself. I've been there. I'm a member of the Lower Back Scar Club. I know. Listen to them about, and I mean this sincerely, they're going to show you a golf pickup. They're going to show you how to use your feet to get out of bed. Will, listen to every damn thing they say. Listen, they'll show you how to swing your leg up to what's a golf pickup. If you've got to pick something up, you don't bend over and pick it up. You swing your leg out, and trust me, bro. Trust me. I've been there. I've been exactly where you're going to be. You're going to be fine. They do great work. You're going to wake up a new man. You are going to wake up a new man. But don't get crazy and do what they say, brother. Do what they say. They're going to give you a lot of good information. And the last thing I'm going to say, Will, and I do apologize for running off on this tangent, they're going to send you to do some physical therapy. Do it. And if they're not focused on your gait, your walk, find another physical therapist. Glad you're with us, Will. Take care of yourself, brother. Take care of yourself. We're looking forward to seeing you Wednesday on the other side. Enjoy that Vicodin, my friend. Skeet Sayre, for the first time in history, U.S. has more debt than credit. Trump has done what he always does by destroying anything he touches. Yep. Skeet Sayre, the only reason the stock market is vibing is because NVIDIA was trying to prop up AI with loans to AI companies. Yep, that is true. That is 100. I love that you people are so just keyed into the things that are going on. Taylor, MX21, morning from Vallejo, California. Glad you're here, brother. Glad you are here, my friend. Glad you are here. Skeet Sayre, love California, my friend. I do. I love California. They give me some shit about that. These idiot right wingers like, why don't you move to California? And I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time, motherfucker. I've been to California. It's nice out there. There's a reason houses cost so much in California. There is. All right, Skeet Sayre, if you have money in this economy, my best thing to do is buy Canada savings bonds. Just look at Russia. The bond index is 22%. There, do not take investment information from people off the internet, including me. You talk to your advisor who knows your situation and yours. Yes. William G. Atheist, J.D. Vance states Canada is suffering. Well, then let that continue. Canada only added 75,000 jobs in July. Just saying. Yeah, Canada's killing it. They really are. I am so proud of you folks up there electing the right people. Elections have consequences, man, and you people are proving it, man. You are proving it. I've got to order music. Every time I talk about Canada, I think about the good folks at Death by Chocolate, and I think about I need to order some more of those damn chocolate bars. I do. Those were freaking good. Those were good. And I won't eat the last one. I should carefully unwrap it and then just wrap the wrapper back. Y'all would never know if it was just the wrapper, right? There's some good chocolate, man. Jerry Ring, Besson's facial expression always looks like he farted in an elevator full of people. He's smirking, trying not to laugh about it. Yeah, these Republicans are just a joke. They're not serious. Peter Campbell, thank you for being here, brother. I'm glad to see all the longtime members. Skeets here, I read a report that ICE agents are now going door to door. That is the same as the 1930s Germany to a T. Yep. Folks, this is the kind of stuff they made movies about. Scott's, the video is probably the RGV. ICE has ground construction to a halt down here in the RGV. I hear you, brother. It's nationwide. It's nationwide. Dave Barone, boy, they sure don't have a problem wearing masks now. I know, right? I know. That is so freaking hilarious. Every time I see these, you can't tell me to wear a mask, and all they do is run around in damn masks. Forgive me, I got a wild hair here on my mustache. It's not cooperating. I'm sorry about that, folks. That looks weird. Skeet said the worst time in U.S. history was the 50s during McCarthyism. This time is way worse as people are being put in concentration camps. And, it is way worse. Also, just to be practical for a second, in the 50s, we were booming. We were the last people left standing after World War II. Our industry did not get a scratch on it, any of it. Europe was devastated. It took them damn near 20 years to rebuild everything to get blowing and going at full speed again. We were it. You wanted washing machines, you bought a Merkin. That's not happening today. We're having the same shit again that they did in the 50s, but we don't have the good economy and stuff to go with it. People are not going to just shrug this off, is my point. This is not, we're going to be okay. They're going to do awful shit, but we're going to be okay. That's the theme of today's show. The economy is a fucking mess, but I want to remind you, you survived every other economic downturn. You will survive this one. We're going to get ahead so that we're okay. That's what we're doing here. Yvette Sweet, check your registration and vote blue. Glad I love to see all you longtime members. Thank you for being here. Skeets here. Let's get some serious positive. Pearson won his primary in Tennessee for the U.S. Congress. They have tried to end him for years. Yeah, Justin Pearson nailed it. We're going to talk a little bit about Tennessee. I didn't have anything on Justin Pearson. I didn't. There were some other things that are going on there that are just good news. Thanks for bringing Pearson up, Skeets. Thank you. Wayne, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you. Skeets here. Speaking of Texas, did you see Abbott trying to save himself with a pause on AI data centers? Give me a break. Actually, it's lip service to pausing AI data centers. What he's talking about is an audit. Not actually going to do anything. Hell no. You think he's going to go against the people that write him those sweet checks? No. He's going to pretend he's against it because he sees the way the wind is blowing. So he's having audits. He's not actually stopping anything. Yeah, it's that political switcheroo that Cletus is stupid enough to fall for, but we are not. Scott, good to see you. Texas used to have the best fishing and plentiful population too. Now it has gotten really bad. That is true. The fishing is nowhere near what it used to be. We used to focus on, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Take your family to the lake. Nobody does that shit anymore. Every time I go fishing, every time I go to the lake, it's dead. There's like no boat traffic. There's nothing. It's amazing what a quarter century of Republican ineptitude will do. Skeets there. When you work with the devil, it makes you stupid. The entire GOP movement is evidence of that. The women also become witches. Yeah. Skeets there. Ted Cruz literally exudes the sin of gluttony. Yep. Jeremy Breeden. Prices are higher. People are losing health care. More children are hungry. Shock troops kidnapping people. Measles are back. Ebola may be mutating. Yeah, that is something we haven't talked about here. And I love that you people are clued in Ebola is going knucking futs in Africa right now. And it may be mutating. It has mutated. This is, I don't want to scare you. I don't want to be a fear monger today, but that is one that is majorly on my radar. Ebola is no freaking joke, man. But yeah, El-Sayed, vote Republican side. That's the point of the whole show. We're going to just absolutely pop the bubble that is this bullshit attack on Abdul El-Sayed and his family, in contrast to all this shit that they're doing and failing at. You just described the show, my brother. Gregory Brown. Since Miss Lindsay is gone, Cruz is going in the trunk. I'm telling you, man. I am telling you, the Republicans are screwed. Catherine Ryan, did you see the commercial with El-Sayed's grandparents? Perfect. I'm telling you, he is killing it. He is killing it. Just, I am so impressed. I am so impressed. Michael Antonshu, vote November 3rd, 2026. Yep. This is a backlash election, folks, and he is just nailing it perfectly. Richard, 65, wow, Cancun cruise. I wonder how many of your Republican colleagues, along with Trump, have ties to the Proud Boys. Amen. Amen. Chandra Patton, so tired of these clowns that don't give a shit about anyone but their orange ogre. You can say that here. It's okay. It's okay, Chandra. I appreciate it. I admire your sensibilities. I'll say it for you. Skeet said the leader of the conservatives in Canada is a Trump bootlicker. His approval rating is 18%. Yep. ET, one thing that the VA has recently been doing for pain relief without lots of medications has been things like battlefield acupuncture, as well as other things I can attest to that they do work. Ask your doctor about it. Thanks, ET. I appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you for spreading the good word. Meanwhile, here in Texas, we've just made THC a felony again. Yeah. That's straight bigotry is what it is. They use pot as a way of attacking minorities because we over police minorities. And when they took the THC away from the police as a tool to use, they just weren't filling the prisons like they used to. So yeah, they've gone back to THC as a felony. We're back to reefer madness, folks. Yeah. That's the Republicans for you. Richard, hi from Nebraska. Good to see you. Glad to see you. Nebraska in the house. Kyra loves Michael. My 6-month anniversary. I love this community. Glad you're here, Kyra. I am. I'm glad you're here. Michael Thomas, a couple more. We're going to get back to work. Michael Thomas creates Trump is Putin's revenge. Yep. Amen, brother. I hear you. Hugh Wilson, thanks for gifting the membership. I appreciate y'all being so generous. Jerri Reed, did you see the worms and water bottles of ICE prisons? Man, there's going to be, when we take the Senate back and the House back, there is going to be so much that's going to come out about these. They're goddamn concentration camps. They are. We have got to double down. We have got to kill it this election. And I got to tell you, they're doing all the things that I'm telling you, look, this isn't hard. A voting machine can only handle so many votes a day. It just is what it is. It takes time for a person. They've got to stand in line. A person votes. However long it takes that person to vote, they leave the machine. Another person steps in. They vote. It takes them X amount of time. It's really simple math, folks. It's really simple math. A voting machine can only process so many votes per day. So if you do not put voting machines in Democratic districts, you just won't get the votes. You just won't. And then they fill the ballots with these initiatives all the time to make voting so much longer. What is the cure for that? Because that is what they're doing. I keep telling you, they're going to cheat. In every red state, they're doing it. They're taking voting machines out of Democratic districts. They're doing it again. This is a story that is in state after state after state. What is the fix for that? Well, we don't control things. We've let it get out of our control. So what do? You stand in line no matter how long it takes. Discipline. Get involved locally, because your local Democratic Party will pre-print for your area, vote this way. And then you can look. You don't have to vote that way. You don't. But they'll give you a list. And you can say, okay, this one thing here I don't really agree with. We're going to change that. But you've got a list. So when you walk into that voting machine, you take your list out and you go beep, beep, beep. And it cuts the amount of time it takes for you to vote by 75%. You don't have to read each and every amendment because you are prepared ahead of time. And that means more people can get into that machine and more people can vote. We increase our voting efficiency. Those are the things that I'm trying to get people. When you get involved locally, there are good people in your area that do that every single election. I'm telling you, folks, it matters. I'm not just saying this shit because I thought, oh, well, that sounds catchy. No, it's real. Richard, hi from Nebraska. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Richard. Happy birthday to you. This is why I don't sing. Skeet's there in Canada from Vancouver to St. John. You can smoke weed in front of a police officer as long as you're not driving a motor vehicle. I know, right? This is silliness. Have you listened to some of Sarah C.M. Payne's lectures? She was a Naval War College professor. She demonstrates some great points about Trump. There is a lot of good information out there. Did you see the Lon Burnham getting arrested in Fort Worth? No, I didn't. I didn't catch that. I didn't. Thank you for filling me in on it. Look what the Tarrant County Commission did yesterday. Yep. A lot of crazy shit going on here. That's why we got to get to work. All right. And speaking of get to work, let's get back to it. This is Abdul El-Sayed's father-in-law. You'll notice he is not a terrorist. He's a nephrologist. Kudos to anybody in the comments that can tell me, without Googling it, what a nephrologist is. Yes, don't you dare say a doctor. Yes, it's a doctor. What kind? His father-in-law is a nephrologist. That's what he does. Bingo! Winner, chicken dinner. I knew you folks would know. I think it was Lemingbane was the first one out with it. Yeah, kidney doctor. That's right. That's what he does. That's what he's done his entire professional career. He's a nephrologist, not a terrorist. He's a kidney doctor. Where does this come from? Where does all this bullshit attacking point come from? Because you're going to hear it, man. You're going to see it all over social media. You're going to hear it. Hey, they're funding terrorists. They are terrorists, this, that, and the other. This is where it comes from. This is the story that the second El-Sayed won. These went in all, those little fringe right-wing rags that you see, that don't have a big circulation, but they all print the same shit over and over and over and over again. In this case, the Washington Examiner. Name a few. You know what I'm talking about. You know the kind of publications I'm talking about. They're running with this. So your drunk uncle, Cletus, is going to repeat this shit. He is. He's going to repeat this shit. It's bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. But like all good lies, there's a kernel of truth in there. Well, not really, but there are ties. What are they saying? What does this accusation stem from? It stems from the USA versus Holy Land Foundation. Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development was the largest Muslim charity in the country. It was based here in Texas, Dallas, Texas. Yes, we have Muslims here in Dallas, Texas. We do. The United States government, and this is the part that just enrages me, the United States government took the Holy Land Foundation to court and sued them and had them declared funders of terrorism, even though there were no direct ties between the Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development and terrorist organizations. This is what happened. You'll notice here, I have highlighted here that the government in the entire case never accused the Holy Land Foundation of directly supporting in this case, it was Hamas. In this case, it was Hamas. What they said was they handed the money to Palestinian zakat committees. Zakat, the word zakat, means charity. It is one of the tenets of Islam. It's obligated charity. That's where this comes from. If you do a search for the word zakat or Palestinian zakat committees, this is what comes up on Google. These are very, 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 very common. There's a lot of devastation in Gaza. Israel is doing fuck all about it. There are, and if you're a longtime follower, we have talked about the charity organizations that I have a real problem with that take advantage. I mean, they make bank. They live supreme lifestyles, making six-figure salaries, funneling money into these areas. I took a lot of shit for going after the UN. You'll notice the federal government has never sued the UN. That's important. We'll come back to that. These are all charities that funnel resources and relief into Gaza. Now, put a pin in that. We're going to do a little background information to catch everybody up because everybody's not here. Not everybody knows what we're talking about. When the fighting in Gaza broke out, I took a lot of shit because I would not lie. They said Israel bombed this relief shelter. And then I pointed out Jabalah was not a relief shelter. It was a neighborhood, multi-level apartment buildings. There are stores. The headlines they were putting out were kind of bullshit. Well, I had to call bullshit on both sides. I took a lot of shit from everybody because I just wouldn't misconstrue what was going on. And I still will not. I will not. I'm going to call it the way it is. I'm going to give you good information. You have good information, you can use it. Look, this is the way it is. This is the way it works with charity in these areas because they are run. Hamas is the government in Gaza. We're going to use Gaza as the example. Hamas was the government in Gaza. They are a terrorist organization. When you tried to help the Palestinian people, Hamas took their cut. That was part of it. You saw me rail about the UNRWA. I mean, you saw me rail about the UN. You saw me rail about several different charity organizations because this is the way it works. You pulled up with 20 trucks. Hamas met you at the gate. They went in and they picked which trucks they were taking and they took them back to their compounds they control. That's just reality. That is reality on the ground. Everybody knows it. It's the cost of doing business. You want to help people that are starving to death in Gaza? The folks with the AK-47s are going to take their cut. It is what it is. That's the way it works. I railed against this. I railed about how little we actually were involved. We just let the system go, and then we bitched about the system. Where were we while all this was going on? I mean, there were plenty of pictures like this. I mean, this was everywhere. The UN concrete bags that were in the Hamas tunnels. Boy, Israel couldn't wait to show you those. That's real. That really happened. The UN sent materials into Gaza to be used to rebuild infrastructure, and Hamas took a cut. And they used it to build their infrastructure, their bunkers. That happens. That's part and parcel to doing business. Now, what I said was, look, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And I highlighted, I did an entire segment on the Abu Samra family. Y'all may remember this. The Abu Samra family. I said, look, Gaza's never been a democracy. We're not going to start one down there. We're just not. What we need is leadership from a group, in this case, a family that is already established, that is already respected, that wants good things for the Palestinian people, that we can do business with, that is focused on business, focused on taking care of their people. And I pointed out, they exist. It doesn't have to be Hamas. In fact, the Abu Samra family very much fought Hamas. Oh my God, I hope your coffee's banging you as well as mine is. Y'all longtime members may remember the show where I actually talked about this when the fighting was going on. You had the Abu Samra family that they controlled their fiefdom, their area, their neighborhood. And when Hamas crossed those borders, if they did terrorist shit, the Abu Samra family ended them right then and there. They were not Hamas. They were not. Palestinian groups, Palestinian families, I told you there was about 5 of these large factions, Hamas being one of them, the Abu Samra family being another one. I listed them all out. Started to coalesce around the Abu Samra family. Now, remember, they're not Hamas. They're just Palestinians. They're just people that want good things for their people. So what did Benjamin Netanyahu do? Well, he can't have stability, can't have the Palestinian people getting on their feet, can't have them having real leadership, can't have them having leadership that would draw sympathy and support from around the globe. Can't have that. He cut the fucking IDF loose on a peaceful neighborhood in Gaza. The Abu Samra family policed their neighborhood. You could walk their neighborhood. And Netanyahu cut the fucking dogs loose on them. Then ordered them out of their own neighborhood, out of their own stronghold, and marched them south through enemy territory. He decimated the Abu Samra family because he did not want stability. That is not the goal. That is not the goal of Israel. They want the Palestinians in disarray. They don't want the Palestinians to coalesce behind a leader that we can do business with that isn't Israel. That is just a fact. If you're a longtime member of the show, you know I went through all of this And I took hell from both sides because I will not lie about the facts on the ground. That is what happened. That is what happened with Abdul El-Sayed's father-in-law. He lived the American dream. He's a nephrologist here. He is successful. He has made a lot of money. He wants to help his people. That lawsuit against the Holy Land Foundation does not allege that any of these organizations directly funded any kind of terrorism at all. The two organizations that his father-in-law sits on a board. Is all he does. He doesn't run the organization. He just sits on a board. He's an advisor. He writes checks. When the money reached the zakat committees on the ground, Hamas took its cut at gunpoint, the way they do the UN and every other major charity organization in the world. It's the way it works. You want to move food to the Palestinians, Hamas, the people with the AK-47s will take their cut. That's what happened with the zakat committees. You don't see Turd Cruz calling the UN a terrorist organization or funding terrorists. You don't see the Trump regime suing the United Nations for doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing they're accusing Abdul El-Sayed's father-in-law of doing. They're working to help people that we will not help. We will not help them as a country. We will not. We have allowed the Palestinian people to be fucked in Gaza. We've allowed them to be fucked in Egypt. We've allowed them to be fucked in Jordan. We allow them to be the victims of rape and abuse in the West Bank. And Netanyahu fucking loves that we are absentee, that nobody is paying attention. And that is what Turd Cruz is hoping for, that you will not understand what is going on. He knows MAGA will not, and they're bigots. They are bigots. They want to believe this. The Muslims are going to take over. They're going to put that Sharia law on you. You just wait, ladies, for that Sharia law. Well, what's Sharia law? What are you saying is going to happen? Well, they ain't going to let them women vote. They're not. Well, wait a minute. You're doing that. You're doing that. Your churches are preaching that right now. Today, your Christian churches are preaching that. Abdul El-Sayed is not. He is not preaching that at all. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. But your churches are, you as a party, your platform is that the man runs the household. And as long as women have the right to vote that we don't really agree with, they should vote the way their man tells them to. That is your fucking party platform. So you tell me what the fuck Sharia law is and who's trying to put it on people. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. Abdul El-Sayed stands for access to health care for women, autonomy for women, equal rights for women. You do not, Turd Cruz. You do not. You are closer to what that fucking bullshit extremism that you put up to everybody as Sharia law that isn't actually Sharia law. You are closer to that. You are doing that yourself. That is just a fact. That is just a fact. You want to know what Abdul El-Sayed was doing? And by the way, his full name is Abdul Rahman Mohammed El-Sayed. This was him giving his graduation speech at the University of Michigan. You want to know what he was doing while you're accusing him of being
like
a terrorist?
any true Michigan man, I'm always eager to spread the good word about Michigan. A couple of weeks ago, I was asked to serve on a panel for high school students who wanted to learn more about the college experience here. As I prepared my spiel on how you have a better chance to get into med or law school from Michigan, on how this university is easily the best in the Midwest, on how Ann Arbor restaurants trump all others, and last but not least, if all else fails, how BTB is open till 4 a.m. I got to thinking about my experiences here. What I really wanted to communicate was why I love Michigan. Now, why do I love Michigan? I came to one prominent conclusion. 7-month winters. I wanted to put a finger on what this university means to me. I mean, Michigan is the only real college experience I and most of you have ever had. Think with me now. What would college have been without packing into these seats on crisp Saturday afternoons to watch our boys in blue just obliterate whoever it was who wasn't lucky enough to be wearing the winged helmet? What would it be to walk between classes and not see your upper-level biology professor jamming it up on a harmonica? What would it be without the fishbowl? Actually, I can answer that one. You probably wouldn't have wasted a sum total of about 30 hours of your life just looking for a computer. And then,
That's that radical terrorist right there. Woo-wee. Got to protect America from that. That was Abdul El-Sayed then. This is Abdul El-Sayed now. Please forgive how long we're going to run these. So I think it's important. I think it's important that you see the man speak from his own mouth. That was Abdul El-Sayed 20 years ago when he was becoming a doctor, committed himself to serving the American people. This is Abdul El-Sayed now, addressing these attacks.
It's funny that they've taken to calling me dangerous. Now, I wonder why you would call somebody from my background with my faith dangerous. You heard that before? No. And it's interesting. You ask the folks living in these communities, the grandma whose grandchild finally got a pair of glasses, if I'm dangerous. Ask the folks living in Southwest who finally saw somebody stand up to the polluters in their neighborhood, if I'm dangerous. Ask the parents whose kids were in Detroit public schools when we made sure that there wasn't lead in those schools, if I'm dangerous. Ask the folks who got Narcan that saved their lives, whether or not I'm dangerous. Ask the folks who got a medical debt relief check if I'm dangerous. I'm not dangerous if you need government to work for you. But I'll tell you what, I sure am dangerous if you're one of those folks who's a corporation or a special interest or a politician who does their bidding, who's stopping government from working for you. So yeah, if you're Chuck Schumer, I'm dangerous. If you're AIPAC, I'm dangerous. If you're a corporate PAC, I'm dangerous. If you're Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO, I'm pretty damn dangerous. If you're a DTE, I for sure am dangerous. But if you're somebody who needs government to work for you, I aim to be the best friend you ever had.
I'm telling you, he's killing it. He has come out and released a series of videos That video, and then there are several other videos of him that are, dancing, having a good time, talking about his positions. He's killing it on social media right now. It is up to us to amplify it, because what you're going to get from the other side is, hey, he's a terrorist. He's a terrorist. They fund that terrorism. They're going to bring that Sharia law to America. They're going to do it. Ladies are going to make you wear that hijab. They're going to make you wear that hijab here. You watch. We can't even make you register your fucking guns, dude. Come on. Come the fuck on. You know, I mean, Jesus, the idiocy, the stupidity. Yeah, it's dumb. It's just dumb. It is. It really is. But you know what? Dumb works on Cletus. It does. Because he's a bigot. And he wants to be a bigot. And he wants to believe that shit. He does. He wants it to all be true. He wants to believe they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. And our high school children that you cannot get to, if you know a high school child, the hilarity of this, he thinks that high school children are shitting and pissing in cat and litter boxes in their high schools because, they pretend furries. And yeah. Have you ever seen a high school student have to change a diaper? Yeah, no. I mean, just the hilarity of it, but they believe it. They believed it so much they actually passed ordinances in some of these city councils about it. That's how fucking stupid they are. How out of touch with reality they are. But thank God, this is a backlash election against that stupidity. It is. It is a backlash against that stupidity. And we have a unique opportunity. And I'm telling you, folks, when the winds blow this direction, you have to unfurl your sails. You have to grab the ball and you've got to charge. You've got to run to carry it as far as you possibly can, because the whole way they're going to try to kneecap you. They are. They're going to give you resistance the whole way. And you've just got to push and push and push and push. Because I just want to remind you, as we talked about before this segment, we're going to face some hard economic times here. We already are. There are people watching this show right now that are using credit cards to get by because shit is so expensive. You got people that are losing their health insurance. You got people that are downgrading their health insurance. You got people that are just, and what are the Republicans? What is their response? Oh, we got to cut them entitlements. You're too damn expensive, is their response. And stupid shit like this. Abdul El-Sayed, there's a reason I rarely, if never, come out in a primary. Because of this pen right here. Because I am a believer in I am the founder of the Ride or Die Democrats. Part of that is we've got to fight it out in the primary. And I just feel like it's wrong for me to put my thumb on the scale. But every once in a while, a candidate comes along that is so clearly superior that I feel obligated, especially if they're getting attacked unjustly and unfairly. I tipped the scales. I love Julie Johnson. I really do. I think she's fantastic. She was a fantastic leader, and I hate that she lost her primary. I think that we're losing a great Democrat in Julie Johnson. But I like Colin Allred. I do like Colin Allred. I think he's going to be a great congressperson. I didn't put my thumb on the scale on that one. I didn't. I had both of them on the show. I talked about the positives of both of them. That's what I do typically. But Abdul El-Sayed, I came out and I said, no, I support that guy. I do. I support that guy. And there's a reason I support him. He's a decent human being. He's intelligent. He is. His policies are exactly, when I tell you I'm trying to lasso the Democratic Party and pull left, The policies he's advocating for are the policies I am talking about all the time. We need a government that is getting back to the focus on the people and the people's well-being. Because when we do that, everybody does better. Everybody does better. When the people that are in the bottom 50% are suffering, us in the middle class, even the upper middle class, we will suffer too. Because we will need them. They're our customers. They're our neighbors. It hurts us too. The only people that do well when the bottom 50% suffer are the very, very, very rich. And they only do well for a certain amount of time, and then it all collapses. It's called a Republican administration. It happens every time. We Democrats, we focus on everybody doing as well as they can. Well, guess what? Johnny Got Rocks does well too in that situation because he has customers, because the economies are solid and everything is working great, and we build things. We don't, when Democrats run things, we don't spend $2.4 trillion on AI bullshit. We don't. We focus on fixing potholes, making sure that we have ports where we can do business, the basics. Take care of the basics and the people will do the rest. But yeah, it's not the only thing that's going on. It's not. I want to tell you, I want to leave you on a positive note. I do. I want to leave you fired up about these elections. I really do. This just happened. Folks, Tennessee is in play. Texas, we've talked about over and over, and we will continue to talk about how Texas is in play. Gina Hinojosa and Greg Abbott are within the margin of error. They're like a point apart. I'm telling you, the winds are blowing the right direction. Tennessee yesterday, it is on. It is on. This is Jerri Reed. She's a former prosecutor. She is a city commissioner in Memphis. She is the Democratic governor for candidate, Democratic candidate for governor in Tennessee. She is a great candidate. She is very appealing. She is super articulate. She's a natural. She is a natural. She is. And she is now running against Marsha Blackburn. Oh my God. I squealed like a little girl. When I am not kidding. I squealed like a little 14-year-old girl. You ever heard teenage girls that are like so excited about something, and that's exactly what I sounded like when I saw these numbers come out yesterday. Marsha Blackburn. You talk about baggage. You talk about unappealing. You talk about a shitty candidate. And the Republicans in Tennessee made the exact same mistake with her that the Republicans here in Texas made with Ken Paxton. They really think Marsha Blackburn's going to hurt some people, and they're here for it. They have no clue how unappealing she is to the majority of the population. And we have a candidate in Jerri Reed that is such a juxtaposition to a Marsha. She's such an anti-Marsha Blackburn. They have no idea what they're in for. You watch the polling numbers I'll bring them to you. The polling numbers over the next few weeks, now that it is a straight up horse race, folks, we're going to flip Tennessee. We are going to flip Tennessee. I am super stoked about Jerri Reed. I am. We also have Marquita Bradshaw that won her primary. Again, this is a backlash. This is a rematch. Bill Haggerty and Marquita Bradshaw have run against each other in the past. They have. Marquita Bradshaw is an activist. That is what she is first and foremost. She's an activist. She has a long resume of organizations that she's worked with and for. That I'll just read them off for you. Volunteer and community organizing work that she's done includes Defense Depot, Memphis, Youth Terminating Pollution, Mid-South Peace and Justice, the Sierra Club, Stand for Children, AFGE, the AFL-CIO, Membership Community Advisory Board, Southern Gateway Environmental Health Disparities, Memphis Chapter Coalition, Tennessee African American Environmental Justice Network, Tennesseans for Fair Taxation, Memphis NAACP, Asa Philip Randolph Institute. She is an advocate for the people. This is not 6 years ago. This is a backlash election. She is poised to seize that seat. She is. People have had enough of the bigotry, of the ugliness. They just have. They've had enough. The opportunities that we saw out of yesterday. And if you don't believe me when I tell you the tides, they are changing, this happened yesterday. And I want to shout out to Brian Tyler Cohen. I just straight up lifted his graphic, and I do apologize for doing that, Brian, but it's a great graphic. It is. Andy Ogles, we've talked about him many times on the show. He is an awful human being. Yeah, he lost his primary yesterday. He lost to another Republican. The Trump-endorsed Andy Ogles lost his primary yesterday. That is among Republicans, people. That is among Republicans. He's the guy that said gay people have no place in America and Muslims have no place, don't belong in America. All kinds of bigoted shit. Yeah, it's been one thing after another. He is an awful, exactly. He is a gross person. That is exactly who most MAGA love. He lost. What does that tell you about what's happening within the Republicans in Tennessee? They've had enough. They've had enough of the antics, locking Democrats out in the legislature, and just all the bullshit that they've been doing. It was, I kept telling people, give them rope. They will hang themselves. They will. All of these overreaches are coming home. They are coming home. I promise you, folks, they are coming home. And this is proof. Andy Ogles had so much baggage. I mean, beyond just the opening, just the open bigotry, he had so much baggage. Yeah. He lied about his education. He lied about his degree. He lied about he embellished his law enforcement career. He was a volunteer. He wasn't even an actual, he was a volunteer. But he walked around telling people about how his law enforcement background gave him the right point of view on immigration, and he knew because of his law enforcement background, the kind of crimes and the kind of pain in the community that immigrants cause. Because I was in law enforcement. Yeah, he lied about all of it. He lied about all of it. He's just an awful, awful, awful human being. And even the Republicans who would normally say, woo, out, hit the bricks. But my point in that is the winds have shifted. The times, they have changed. It's not they are a-changing. The times, they have changed. This is a very, 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 very different election, folks. It is. It is an incredible opportunity. It is. It really is. This is Wilson County. I want to show you Wilson County. Wilson County, Tennessee. Zoom in. See this area in red right here? This very rural area in red outside Nashville. Let me ask you, what kind, Lebanon and Mount Juliet are the two big towns in this region. Of everything you know about American politics, red district or blue district? Rural, outside, when you get outside the city, rural, outside the city, red district or blue district? Come on, this is a round table, folks. This is a community. We talk to each other. Let me see the answers in the chat. Make sure you're paying attention. Yeah, this is Tennessee, right? Yeah. Well, yesterday, this just happened. I want to shout out to Tennessee Holler. I intentionally used their post from Threads to talk about this because I want you to follow Tennessee Holler on Threads. He is a great source of information. Wilson County, 2 commissioners, Democrats yesterday. Yeah. Getting local, folks, in the red districts. Democrats flipped 2 seats in Wilson County. Folks, it is happening. It is happening. The times, they have changed. This is not the Republicans got their run of it. They were given all 3 branches of government. They showed how ugly they are. And people don't like it. People don't like it. They don't. This is a backlash election. We need to pull together. We need to stop shooting ourselves in the ass. Stop the people that are attacking our brand. We need to focus on turning out the vote. We need to get involved locally to improve our voter efficiency because those Republicans are going to cheat. They are. We need to help people check their voter registrations because, we're not talking about us, folks. This is the mistake. I have owned up to it many times. I made this mistake in the last election. I got way too high on my own supply. I got too excited about the conversations that you and I were having with each other and saw the excitement and everything that was going on. And I just really thought, we got this in the bag. And I forgot to check with the stupids. We're not doing that this time. We're not. We're going to make sure you're the people. You're the smart people. You're the people that know what's going on. You're the people that are clued in to what's going on. You're the people that have to make sure that folks are checking their voter registrations because they're not going to, folks. They're worried that football's firing up. Football season's coming around, man. People are going to be distracted with that. Plus, they got their jobs and their kids are going back to school. You got all the kiddie activities, man. All of the little league and the sports teams and everything that's going on, band and all that. That's where these people are going to be. We have to be the ones, the political addicts, the ones that can big picture shit. We go, hey, man, check your voter registration. Make sure you're still registered. Well, hey, man, you know what? I'm part of the Democratic, the Wilson County Democratic Party. They just put this primer out on how to vote. Save you time in the voting booth. That's how we do it. That's how we counter. Yes, they're going to cheat. Yes, they're going to cheat. I will never tell you they're not. But I'm not going to hand wring and say, oh, we can't do it. We can't win. Oh, they're just going to cheat. Oh, Elon Musk. That's all you got to say. Elon Musk is unstoppable. Bullshit. Bullshit. We're doing it. We are doing it. You're seeing it. The wind is at our backs. We are pushing and pushing and pushing. And you have a responsibility, because if you are watching, if you are hearing me speak right now, you are head and shoulders above the average American. Your average American has no clue that when they go to vote, that the Republicans have filled that ballot with so much shit that they are slowing voting down on purpose. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know that there are Republican law firms that exist solely to challenge people's registrations, to send out mailers to people. It'll look like just a postcard. It'll look like something just like any, and you'll take it and you'll throw it in the trash, as you should. You know, all that stuff that comes. I can't tell you how many mailers I get. And I told you, as soon as the August is over, September, October is going to be huge. Your mailbox is going to fill up with mailers. That's when they're going to send you that caging letter, that caging postcard that says, hey, are you still registered? Do you still live here? It'll look like something totally different. It'll look like either a policy postcard that you're going to just attribute it to one of the parties, or it'll look like a candidate's postcard or something. And so you'll take it and you'll throw it in the trash. Then they'll say, oh, they didn't respond about their voter registration, so we're going to go ahead and challenge their voter registration. And the Republicans that run your area will say, oh, off the rolls. It's called caging. Republicans do it every election. They do. But the people that aren't you, that aren't as smart as you, that aren't involved as you, they don't even know that happens. They don't. They don't know that happens. And boy, howdy, does it. Does it. We got a couple other things going on that I want to talk about. But I want to catch up on some of these comments. I'm way behind. I want to catch up on some of these comments. Crafty Ass Gardeners down here in Bastrop County, COTA, Coalition of Democratic Allies, printed beautiful state cards that are allowed in the polling places. I'm giving them to all my good neighbors as I block walk. Amen, brother. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's how we do it. People are like, Paul, what do we do? This is what we do. Diane Bree Garage. Hey, Paul, here with you as always. As a Cuban American, I wish Ted Cruz wasn't Cuban. He's a disgrace and evil. The quintessential Cuban is an empathetic, loving, hardworking person that lives for family. Yeah, that's what I try to tell people. When you grow up in like South Texas, and I know it's not Cuban. It's not. But it's a Hispanic culture. I don't care if you're talking about Puerto Rican, Cuban, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off because it's like, why are you throwing everybody in the same basket? I'm not. They're all very different. Very different. But the things that they do have that are the same, you know, growing up in South Texas, it's predominantly Mexican culture. Family, working hard, no bullshit, no drama. You know, we work our asses off till we're exhausted, and then on the weekend we get together and drink cervezas. We bond as a family. That is every Hispanic community. I'm telling you, you want to build a country? Build it on that. Build it on that. I'm telling you, I for people that have not lived in communities like I have, you want some brown people living around you. You do. You really, really do. You really do. I don't know how to put it any more clearer. You do. Skeet's there. No, Paul, this started in the 13th century when the Pope decided to liberate Jerusalem from the infidels, though it had an open city in worship. Man, you're going way back, brother. Skeet's there. Heck Breath thinks she's a crusader. Yep. Yeah, y'all are nailing it, man. We Michiganders will vote Abdul El-Sayed into the United States Senate first Tuesday this November, and we love Texas folks. Ted Cruz is a known liar. Everybody knows it. Ted Cruz is the one beef I have with Canadians. Why couldn't y'all just kept them up there? You know, why? Why couldn't y'all just kept them up there? Skeet Sayer, when I was a kid, I wondered why young girls would strap bombs to themselves. So I read up on it and I realized the injustice that is Gaza. The nanas of the IDF would slap every soldier for actions. Yeah, the reality, you know, a lot of people came very late. And, you know, since the October 7th attacks, all of a sudden you got people walking around in their mail order keffiyehs. Some of us have been paying attention to what's going on there for decades. Some of us know what's going on outside Gaza. I got to tell you, Jordan, the amount of affection the average American has for King Abdullah and Jordan is off the charts because he's charming as hell. He fucks the Palestinian people. He does. It is not just Israel. If you really want peace in the Middle East, this is a complex situation that is going to take real leadership. And we need to not try to make it America. It isn't. It never will be. It never will be. But it can be a hell of a lot better than it is right now. It can. Art Vandelay, I agree, Paul. Hamas and the Israeli government should be held accountable for war crimes. The Palestinians and the Jewish people aren't to blame. Thank you for that segue. Thank you for that segue. Whenever I talk about these things or express these opinions, especially not so much on the show, because you people, y'all are, like I said, head and shoulders above most people. But when I'm, you know, doing my thing on Blue Sky or doing my thing on Threads or doing my thing on Facebook or doing whatever, and I talk about these issues, and they tend to have to be short clips under 3 minutes. The amount of anti-Semitism that comes out, that's just gross. Man, we got to be better than that. We've got to be better than that. Blaming every Jewish person for this is like blaming every Muslim for every terrorist. It's just stupid. There are 2 billion Muslims in this world. 2 billion. The radicals make up a very small faction. Now, I hear you about Israel. I do. Netanyahu's enjoying about 60% support right now. They've got an election in October, and if they don't solve their fucking Netanyahu problem, I don't know if Israel's going to make it. I don't know if it's going to continue to exist. I don't. People are like, what? That's crazy. No, I'm telling you. If they don't solve their fucking Netanyahu problem, this may end with a very different map in the future. Let give you an idea. The world does not revolve around Israel. It doesn't. This is going on. Let me see if I've still got the. Here you go. This just happened. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey signed defense deal amid regional turmoil. They just created a Middle Eastern NATO with mutual defense agreements. Yeah. And I keep telling you, Turkey is the big dick in the room. They are. They not Israel. Israel does not have the strongest military in the region. They do not. They talk the loudest, but they do not. Turkey does. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan just signed a mutual defense agreement. I mean, I am telling you, if Israel doesn't get their shit wired straight in these next elections and deal with their problem, just like we need to deal with our Trump problem, if we fuck these midterms up, we're going to deserve what we get. Same thing with Israel. Glenn Kaneko, thank you for being so generous. I appreciate you. Sorry about that rant, folks. Sorry about that. JPR, in the 60s, they said Kennedy would bring the Pope here to turn our country. That was their fear tactic then. I was 3 when he was shot. I remember it. Yeah. Yeah. Kennedy was a Catholic. That was huge. That was the huge fear mongering. Now it's Abdul El-Sayed's Muslim. Same shit, different decade. Skeets there, it's different century. How the hell can Graham's sister become the senator from South Carolina? I know, because the Republicans are a joke. They are. They're a joke. So many qualified people they get appointed to that position. So many qualified people. Colleen Sarah, first, because she'll do what the fuck she's told. That's why. That's why. Colleen Sarah, first case of dengue virus in Northern Virginia. Electing Republicans has a cost. Rena Scott, blaming all people of Israel for what Netanyahu does is like blaming all Americans for what shit Trump does. Is doing here. Exactly. Thank you. Me, myself, and I, awesomeness. 4-month member. Glad to see the long-term members. We'll get caught up here in a second. We'll get right back to work. I just want to catch up on these comments before we get too far behind. Bonita Parida. People take and twist words to bamboozle, trick people. It's why it's important to stay informed and correct people with the true facts. Some don't do a pinch of research, which is lazy. People with smartphones, some not so smart. Amen, Bonita. Amen. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Skeet Sayre, I thought about it. The reason the GOP are so wicked is they knew the people were. I don't know why I'm reading this so poorly. Let me start over. I just thought about it. The reason the GOP are so wicked is they knew the people were happy. They would be, if the people were happy, they would be finished. Yeah. They've always got to have a boogeyman. Always. Because they're not doing anything for the people. So there always has to be the distraction. Hot dang. Thanks for the gifted. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. I'm glad to see your member, Sam. Glad to see you got it. T-shirt merch. I am Antifa and proud of it. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Chandra Patton, gifted 10 memberships. Thank you. Thank you, Chandra, for always being here. Blue Cat Dad, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Muhammad Ali are heroes. Yeah. But you're going to see this is going to be an ugly election cycle. They're going to try to make all Muslims the bad guys. They are. Did you see the John Stewart Fetterman interview? Is he one of the two senators from Pennsylvania, or is he the senator from Israel? People, we can do better. I hear you, brother. I do. Lynn R. Clemens. And it was John Stewart. John Stewart's Jewish. Stop trying to lump everybody into one box. It's bigoted and it's not right. Kit B, enjoying the show today. I won't be able to watch you next week. And as I'm going on a cruise, all right. Where are you going? Tell us where you're going. Wear my ride or die pin and see if anyone recognizes it. All right. Yeah. Love to see people taking those cruises. One of my biggest political I'm telling you, folks, the first one's expensive. It is expensive. It is. To get into cruising, the first one is not. It's cheaper than any other kind of vacation you take, but it's still expensive. But they will contact you after that first cruise and they will offer you deals. And especially if you're like a retired person that can just pack your shit and go at a last minute's notice, you will get emails. Get on their email list. You'll get offers. I have literally had a free cruise. Free. All I had to do was pay the port taxes so that they didn't lose money on it. They lost money on all the foods. Well, they didn't really because, I spend money on the ship. They know that. But because they track your spending and stuff like that. But yeah, it wasn't free as in I didn't spend a dime. They did not charge me to get on the boat. Put it that way. Cruising is a fantastic, economical, and it is especially if you're getting older. You just have to move your luggage once and they will move most of your luggage. You get it in the room and then the hotel room comes with you. I'm telling you, I cannot rave enough about cruising. One of my biggest political disappointments was when President Joe Biden did not appear on Michigan's 2016 primary ballot. Despite that, I voted for Secretary Hillary Clinton. Ride or die, baby. Ride or die. Millennial David. Any opinion on Jamie Davis from Louisiana? My vibe is bloodbath Republican Senate primary is the perfect timing for a hardworking Dem farmer. There are so many good candidates out there. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be able to talk about them all. That's why I'm begging you to get local. There are so many good candidates out there. Chandra Patton, I have 3 generations of family in Tennessee. My grands are of age and they vote. Amen. All right. All right. That's what I'm talking about. I give a speech about that to local parties. I talk about grandma power, using your grandma power. I tell them the next time I come back, I don't ever want to see this again. I don't want to see a room of people our age. You force those grandkids to come with you. You use your grandma power to ask Mrs. Texas Paul. That is one of the aspects of the speeches I give when I talk locally. Dragon Rider, thank you for being so generous. Wow, gifted 50 memberships. So generous. All you have to do, folks, if you're not a member, is make sure that you have it selected so that in your settings so that you can receive gifts, and YouTube will give you one of those memberships. Lisa Fine, thank you for being here. Longtime members, glad to see you. We're almost caught up, and I'm going to get back to it. There's 2 or 3 more things I want to talk about. Stick with me, okay? There are 2 or 3 more things we need to talk about. Alan Thompson, Cassidy got his big check under the table voting yes on Blanche, Trump's super weak coward. Yep. J.W. Wilming, they are starting to hurt, and they are waking up. ET, messaging people, affordability instead of culture wars, Citizens United instead of APAC. Are you ready to get involved? When we do the work, it gets done. Amen, brother. Amen. ET, I am of the opinion that the Mad King's removal, through whatever means, will be the midterms October surprise. Otherwise, Repugs will lose bigly. No, he's going to be here. They'll weaken him, burning his ass. He's the last thing the Republicans have going for him. That's it. Just the Trump cult. That's all they've got left. If my vote mysteriously wiped from the voter rolls, I'll vote provisional ballot and follow up and confirm it. Yes. Look, if you show up to vote, you demand a provisional ballot, then you cure that ballot. You go back and make sure that ballot gets counted. You can do that. Angelina Valdez, you don't have to just let them take your vote away. You don't. Reform Republicans and vote blue. Amen. Amen, sister. Trader Hater, glad to see you. Anti-aging amendment should be added to the Trump Saved Act as a poison pill. They should make the caging super explanatory on the face of the mailer. Yeah, that would defeat the purpose, though. The whole point is to get you to not reply. Iowa Transplant became a YouTube member. All right. Good to see you here. Glad to see the new members. Victor Harshman, independent media will go down in American history as the voice that saved democracy here in America. Yep, because I guarantee you the corporate media just don't give a shit. Art Vandal, we do collabs with other YouTube creators. I do on occasion. I do. Every once in a while. I've got some people that I know and I like very much. This happened on a segue to the Todd Blanche confirmation. Lisa Murkowski has come out and said she's a no. She is a no. We are still fighting, folks. It's not a done deal yet. He may yet get confirmed. But it ain't over. Lisa Murkowski has come out and said, I am a hard no. She can read the wind, the way the wind is blowing. She can. She always does this shit. She's like the sacrificial one that they throw out there when they've got all the votes, oh, she stood on her principles and shit like that. But absolutely. You know who I'd love to do a collaboration with? I see some talk in the chat about it. Matt Randolph. Y'all talk to Mr. Global too. Tell him he's got a standing invitation here. I'd love to see him join me on my show. I would. Or hell, I'll sit down on his. I don't care. Look, this is happening. I want you to be aware of this. Oil prices are dropping. Futures prices, not actual oil prices. Futures prices are dropping. Trump is trying to claim that he did this. He is not. This is not a good thing for you. This is not a good thing for you. Oman and Iran have come to a deal on the Strait of Hormuz. This has nothing to do with Trump at all. They're going to reopen the straits. That's a good thing that ships will be flowing. It is a very bad thing because Oman is ceding veto power to Iran. I told you, Iran's going to come out of this smelling like a rose. They are. This was stupidity. Benjamin Netanyahu's a fucking idiot. He is. He's a fucking idiot. And Trump is a fucking idiot. And Iran is not your friend. I don't care how much you like the Lego videos. They are not your friend. And they are coming out of this smelling like a rose. They are. They are coming out of this smelling like a rose. 1 second. Saw something in chat I need to verify. No, Blanche hasn't been confirmed yet. He hasn't been confirmed yet. They're still fighting it out. Cassidy has flipped his vote. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, and she ain't sung yet. She's warming up, but she ain't sung yet. Folks, I got a story here. There's no segue to it. It's just an outlier, and it happened, and I want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it. This is going to make you go, fucking wow. I need you to understand this country, as you know it, is not the same country that exists for everybody. That's just a reality. The poorest among us, shit happens to them that is unfucking real. So this just happened. Funeral home in South Chicago. Now, I don't know if you don't. I live in a rural Texas town, so there's a couple funeral homes, and there's that one funeral home that deals with the poor people, and then there's the other funeral home that deals with the people of means, and they are two very different experiences and two very different things. Poor people. I'd love to have Rick Wilson on. I would. I see a comment there. This is the kind of shit that happens to poor people. And I just couldn't imagine. You're going through the grief. You're scraping together. I mean, it is so hard for somebody in that position to fund a funeral. I mean, they do fundraisers. They look for charity. They look for any way they can to get their loved ones buried, and to see shysters take advantage of them this way. And folks, the reason I'm pulling this up is this is not a one-off. There was a crematorium in Tennessee where they were just taking the bodies, chucking them in a lake on their property. They didn't want to pay for the propane because it takes a lot of energy to cremate someone. And they were just sending people, ashes from the burn piles and shit like that, saying, oh, there's your relative. This is the kind of shit. I mean, you can't even die poor in this country without somebody taking a giant shit on you. Health insurance. Poor people work their asses off, try to buy health insurance. The number of scams they put up with is off the charts. I got to tell you, the area I live in, we're here because of family, not because it is like full of wealthy people and shit like that. It is not. It is not. There are a lot of poor folks. This is Hillbillyville where I live. When we moved here, the number of scams, ask Mrs. Texas Paul about this. The number of scams, scam phone calls, scam mailers, it exploded. I couldn't believe the sheer volume. I mean, you owe the IRS $10,000 and you better respond immediately or we're going to seize your house. Shit like that. It's complete bullshit. All they're trying to do is get somebody dumb enough to give people their banking, a complete stranger, their banking information. But it happens here. There's a reason we have to look after poor folks. There is. There's a reason we have to look after poor folks. They're not always the best educated among us. They're not always the most worldly. They don't get to travel as much as we do. They don't get as much exposure as we do. And there's always some fucking asshole out there willing to do the most horrific shit. Folks, do you know how they busted that funeral home in South Chicago? The smell. They just had those bodies laying around. 57 of them. Just rotting. And the folks in the neighborhood complained about the smell. They thought it was sewer. They thought it was a sewer backup. They were complaining to the city. They were complaining to anybody that would listen. And finally, Chicago police dispatched somebody down, and the cop that showed up knew what that smell was immediately, because there's nothing like the smell of a rotting corpse. He knew what that was immediately. That's what it is to be poor in America, folks. It is unsafe. Poor people don't call the police because more often than not, the police cause you more frustration than they help solve. They don't have access to the healthcare systems in our country. They don't have access to the information systems that we have in this country. I am telling you, you need to remember this when we're dealing with these, and so many of MAGA are from these people. So much of MAGA. You know, when Trump says, I love the poorly educated, these are the people he's talking about. They're unsophisticated. They're uneducated. You are, and I say this not to kiss your ass. I don't say this to try to get you to donate money. I don't get this to do anything. It is the reality of it. You know, I watched the chat and I'm wrapping it up here, folks. I promise you, I'm landing this plane. I watch the chat. I watch your comments, and I am floored at the amount of information, because I know the amount of time I have to dedicate to have this kind of information, the amount of reading I have to do. You people are not the same. You're unicorns. You are. You're unicorns. Most Americans, they don't know what you know. They don't have the same experiences you do at all. And we got to remember, August is it. August is it. At the end of August, we are truly 100% hardcore in election season. We got to remember, our messaging has to be to people that aren't us. We can't let happen this election what we let happen last election. We got way too excited about talking to each other We got to remember, it's the economy, stupid. People don't vote to say thank you. People vote to say fuck you. You don't have to message everything else, message everything else out, not everything else. You don't have to message everything out to be a perfect 100% dictionary level description and perfection and accuracy. You don't. It just has to be true. The shorter, the better. Fill the space with things that are pissing people off about Republicans. Fill the space with pictures from your grocery store of outrageously expensive items. Fill the space with corruption. Fill the space with the fact that Trump has netted billions of dollars for his family off the presidency. It hasn't even been 2 years yet. There are 2 more to go. That's your job. And I cannot be prouder that you're here doing it with me. That's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's been motivating. I hope you come out of this understanding we're going to be okay. We got some shit times ahead of us coming, but we're going to be okay. We've got responsibility, work to do. We got to get people involved. Use your grandma power. Get people involved locally. Don't let the conversation stray. Keep people focused, and let's get it done. Let's get it done. On that, enjoy some Texas cities at night.